Most early childhood teachers don't realise that they already have the skills and resources available to be as inclusive as possible. Today we're going to go into that and then hear a story from our guest, and at the end an original poem that she wrote. Hi, I'm Hilary.
And I'm Sonia. Welcome to Mat Time,
where we discuss all things early childhood related. Today, our guest is Janet Dixon, who is an educator, parent, researcher, author, and so much more. So welcome, Janet.
Thank you.
You want to talk about your first, who you are and what's important to you and what you will be talking with us mostly about today.
Okay, so my name is Janet, as you said, and I am a mother of 4, and they used to be children, but actually they're children now. 3 boys and a girl, and our second son had been called different a long time ago. So we've been having an interesting life because of that. My experience in early childhood, I started off as a kindergarten teacher, and then I was in kindergartens for a while. I've also been a matron of daycare centre in London with 60 children and 10 staff. And then I have been self-employed running early childhood networks in Wellington and also mentoring people.
I think you have some really good points here about some of your passions and beliefs in the ways we are with others.
Yes, I think it's really important to be respectful with everybody. Honesty is really high up there for me as well. I think it's really important to have fun and be silly because life's too short to not enjoy yourself. I think it's really important to keep things simple and not to worry and think that it's too hard, but just do a wee piece at a time. I think being positive is really, really important, and it's one of the strong things in Incredible Years to say what is the positive thing that you're looking for, or talk about the positive that children are doing. So positive opposite, I think, is a really good way if we told people what we do want instead of what we don't want. That would be really helpful. I'm very passionate about including everybody in everything that they want to be in. And when I say everybody, the criteria would be breathing. And I feel very strongly about that because of our experience. But there's lots of people who feel excluded for various reasons because there's something different about them. And I think that it's our job as adults to advocate for children, and I especially think that teachers have a role in being advocates for children. I think there's lots of skills that early childhood teachers have that really count and help them to include all children. And by all I mean, as I said before, it's all. It's not just these ones and not those ones, or not the ones with green eyes or pink hair. I don't know. Sorry. And yes, I think that teachers are good at building relationships with parents. I think they're really good at building them with children. I think they're really great at building community relationships. You know, early childhood people know this stuff. You get out there and you ask the questions and say, could you help me with whatever? I think another thing is that teachers know how to work as a team, and they expect to be in a team, and parents love teams. If you're in my team, I love it. If you're in Jeff's team, wow. And even if it's a passing in his team and out again, it's really important. And I've seen teachers gather professionals and parents will go and sit by the teacher.
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it? And I think that the skill of observing is one that's really, really important for someone who's not in the family to just sit and watch for a while and see what's actually going on here.
Yeah.
And I know that that's important for other professionals coming in. And you know this stuff, you know how to do observations. Taking pictures and writing stories. and I think the positive stories are so powerful, whether it's for all children. I think they're really positive. That parents know what their children do and how they can wind people up. They don't need to know about that. It's not important to tell you that. It's that those, do you really see the depth of my child? Which I think comes through with Storypark, that you've actually really looked and really thought and really talked to my child about what's happening and talked to other children about what might happen. Look, there's just so many things that teachers already know, I think. I think one of the most important things is that you expect to be a lifelong learner as a teacher in early childhood, and I think that with all children you're going to learn all different things, you know, and that's a real advantage. There's another resource which I have recently I've known about. My teachers of the network got really excited about, and we're going to do something with this, aren't we? We're going to show it there. There's a show and tell there. The IHC Library is free to belong, and so you can call them or you can go online. So there's all those addresses and things at the back there. And they have a lot of information about people with autism and intellectual disability, but they're keen to do searches, so they've got access to universities and researchers and articles and things like that and research. In my experience as a parent, I think parents of children who are deemed to be different, I think their dreams and hopes are the same as any other parents. They want their kids to have friends. They want to have them with a reason to get up in the morning. And, you know, for parents, for people to realise that actually these parents didn't mean this to happen. They didn't mean to be in the situation that they're in. And are you going to walk with them? There's a story that I'd like to tell you about somebody we met who was a gym teacher. And we took our son to gym when he was 6 because that's what everyone else seemed to be doing. So I said, I don't really know how this is going to go, and I've no idea if he'll ever manage much in gym. And she said, well, I don't know either. I said, great, okay, well let's just keep talking, sorry. So we did, and he did a bit of gym, and he decided he didn't like it, so he didn't do it anymore. But she then bought a house not too far from our place and used to love to see him. And when he was about 13, she said, I've got a job for him. And I said, okay. She said, well, I'd like him to go down to the shops, and she made a list with the pictures of what she wanted, like bananas, and then she'd put 4 bananas, and then she'd put a loaf of bread or whatever it was. So he was to go down and get this list and bring it home. People knew what he was doing, they knew where he was going. Then he started showing up very late, and we didn't know that he could tell the time. And she said, I need it back by 5 o'clock. Well, there he was at 5 o'clock. He didn't have a watch, but he was back at 5 o'clock because then he got the money, you see. And he was walking down and then walking back up, and he decided one day this wasn't okay, so he caught the bus. And quite often he didn't have the money, but he got on the bus, he said hello to the bus driver and sat down, and off they went. So it was interesting, that whole dynamic. So people would report back to me what the bus driver said or what happened or someone paid for him, or there's all these other things happening. And he went and changed the library books, so people knew he was out and about, but he had a reason, he had a purpose, he was employed, he was doing something useful for her.
So it's one person that gave him a chance.
One person. Then she landed a job with an NGO, and she rang up and she said, I need him to come and work for me. And I said, okay. And so he now works there. He's been about 2 years, I suppose, 2.5 years. He does all the whiteboards, washes them all down, he does all the recycle, he waters all the plants. You know, he's on a job, he's not playing computers, he's doing this, he's doing that. So he goes there every week and does his job. Now, if you'd said to her when he was 6, you're going to be a future employer, you will already be signing, because she's got herself signing. She adores him, and he comes in and he, you know, I think his mission in life is to get people smiling and playing, actually. But that's a story that I think none of us knew the end of, and it's not ended, obviously. And I think that people don't know those little ways that they do something, even once a week, really. So I've got a poem, and I don't know whether you want me to read it or not. It's something I wrote. When I looked at it today, it talked about 23 years, and now we're up to 35 years. And I think I probably wrote it when he was about 10. So this is called Relay. It's gone in fits and starts. I've gone in fits and starts. It requires my all when I have little left to spare. But always I keep running again. The baton sometimes has been too hot, so hot that I've run faster to avoid the pain. Occasionally I have slowed, stopped. But where's the next person waiting to take my precious baton? I've put the baton down only a few times when my body didn't work so well and it was consumed with pain which overwhelmed me. So I had to quickly look for a safe place to store my baton, to wait until I could carry it again. This race has been going on for 35 years and I still seek the respite, the safe places and the people who are running in the same direction. We run alongside each other for a while. They may even tentatively carry my baton for a short time. But this baton always comes back to me to keep holding, carrying and running with it as best I can. And I guess my question for teachers is, which way are you running in this race?
Thanks for watching Mat Time. We would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or ideas for topics, just leave them in the comments.
See you next time.